Hello, my name is Clifford Miramontes, and today's video we will talk about patterns and numbers in nature and the world. Many of us think of mathematics as number, operation, fraction, percent, algebra, calculus, and the like. But in reality, mathematics is beautiful as art. Instead of page, a mathematician uses numbers, patterns, and equations to express the beauty of nature. We ourselves can demystify the beauty of the universe we could not see patterns in nature. Well, even the famous astronomer once said, mathematics is the language with which God has written the universe. If you want to understand the world using math, there are 3 steps to follow. First, you need to find patterns. Then you need to represent this pattern in the form of symbols, notations, shapes, or numbers, and finally interpret these patterns. There are many patterns around us. In countries, we have 4 seasons. The sequence is always winters, springs, summer, and fall. Our body follows a natural internal process that regulates, makes cycle, or repeat roughly every 24 hours, which is called circadian rhythm. How do we know to celebrate our birthday? By looking at the calendar. They've been in use over 2,000 years. This suggests that 1,000 years ago, people had already discovered the pattern of time and seasons. It affected in a when they planted, harvested, hunted, and performed many other tasks necessary for their survival. We look up the sky, we can see different constellations. These patterns or devices are poets, farmers, astronomers to identify stars and their locations. On the other hand, the 12 zodiacal constellations or designs of the zodiac are famous today for their use in astronomers. It is also interpreted to know that this pattern in nature are being used by humans in the designing manufactured structures. Have you ever tried solving Rubik's Cube? It's basic impossible solving it at first, but there are very patterns that can be used to match on the colors. These location patterns that are available in the internet are coded are seen in the right side of easier understanding. When Newton discovered the gravity, he used mathematical symbols to prove its properties to other scientists. In fact, he independently invented the mathematical brand called calculus to interpret his discoveries in physics. Future is something that we can't predict, but how can be? The weather clusters tell the possible weather conditions of the coming week. That's because the weather pattern they will derive from the previous day that they had. And who doesn't love music? Many considers music as a form of art, but technically it is collection of a sound and what that they can produce their sound musically instrument. Guitar and piano composition in guitar are visualized in nature in which notes and numbers are used to show the progression of sound. Do you know that when you type the word in keyboard, the CPU reads it differently? The language of computer is represent device 0 and 1. It is called binary digits. So a computer uses thousands of binary patterns to process any inputs. QR codes are common in consumer advertisement. There are also many unique patterns in our body, DNA and fingerprints. No two people know exactly the same fingerprints. Fingerprints analysis have been used to identify suspects, resolved crime for more 100 years. Now, it is also used for biometric security system like one in your phone. Coronaviruses are named for the crown-like spike in surfaces. Coronaviruses are all genetics materials in something called RNA. RNA has some similar in DNA, and they are the same. The constant changes in their DNA patterns are to be others strange like the COVID-19. That's all be all. That's all. Thank you. I hope you learned something about my video and thank you for listening.